welcome back to my channel. My name is Colgan, and this is my wallpaper and painting channel. I just got a call from a gentleman named Rick from New York, my hometown. Rick is doing a project in New York City, well, multiple projects, one of which is a project actually in Long Island. And he asked me to come up and help him out. And I might just take him up on it. This video today is inspired by the conversation I just had with him moments ago. And the title will be something like this: Is my wallpaper straight or level? Or my wallpaper is crooked. Something to that effect, and blame it on the manufacturer. This video is going to make you aware of a phenomenon that few people take into account when they're hanging wallpaper. Now, I cannot tell you that it never happened to me. In fact, when you get used to hanging solid patterns, this may elude your planning as you go about hanging the paper. Let me explain. This is the product today. It's a swatch, okay? It's a very nice product by Clay McLaurin Studio. What would you do if I were to get matching swatches and the next one had a little bit of this missing and the next one had a little bit more of this missing, so that from the time you got from this side of the wall all the way over to there, this is entirely missing. What paper hangers don't realize is that as they are hanging individual sheets of wallpaper, they need to make sure that their pattern doesn't go from being straight to being like this. You see the difference? Over time, that's exactly what's happening. You're putting the wallpaper up. You're keeping your left, I'm a lefty, so I start from my left and I go to my right. If you're a righty, you probably start from your right and you go to your left. So depending on where you start, your start edge is always against the other one. So you're assuming it's straight, but it doesn't mean it's square, because a square has to do with 4 corners. So if I install my first sheet properly, and it's plumb, do not assume that the second sheet is going to be square. The left edge, or the edge against which your second sheet is placed against the first, may be plumb, but it doesn't mean it's square. And it doesn't mean that the forward edge, that is the forward edge of the second sheet, in my case it would be this side, don't assume that it's level. Plumb does not necessarily imply that your wallpaper is square. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Please take the camera. Let's try to demonstrate the point a little better, okay? This is very important. I now have 2 sheets of wallpaper. I'm going to turn the camera around so my cameraman can get a better view. I'm a lefty. I'm going to start with this sheet. That's my left. We will assume for the experiment that this side is perfectly plumb. It's straight. We will also assume that my cut is a factory cut and it is perfectly straight, plumb. Here's where you're going wrong. When you put your second sheet up against your first, this is the forward edge. This is the joining edge. This is plumb. We did it with a level. We're assuming. Is this the end of the first sheet? Is this plumb? Who says yes? Who says no? Your answer has to be, I don't know. If this is plumb, it doesn't mean that 30 inches to the right that this is plumb. Why is that? Watch this. Can they see the buckle in there? I put an air buckle in there. I'm exaggerating an issue. If you have air in there and you haven't gotten it out, you may secure the right side down and the left side down, but think of it like a bedspread. The sheet is not all the way against the wall. And if it's not against the wall and you have obstacles such as air or a belly in the wall, that belly, that air is consuming space between your left edge and your right edge. And it will throw off the squareness of the wallpaper sheet, thereby causing the top to be a little down or a little up, while this side is perfectly straight. You say, it's the manufacturer. This is straight. Use your head. Yes, that's straight. But did you put a level up against your second sheet? I bet you didn't, because that's a lot of work to do that every sheet. Number one, do not assume that your edge, your forward edge is level, plumb, because your first one is. Don't assume that. Secondly, do not assume that your forward edge and your beginning edge, because they're both plumb, that this is level. Don't assume that. Those are two important rules. If you do just that, your pattern will be right at the top all the time. Let's say you don't understand anything I'm talking about. There's two ways to fix it. One of them is to choose a point on this pattern and keep a 360-degree laser level on that one particular piece of your pattern. Let's say you choose this. You hang your first sheet and you make sure that this leaf is on your laser line all around the room. And that will ensure a probability of greater than 90-something% that the top will be the same thing every single sheet. Now, you don't want to choose the laser point too low, because there's a lot of space between foot number 4 at the bottom and 12 feet at the top. The issue with keeping it square comes into play. So, if you have a long wall, you would choose at 4 feet this point, and then you crank up your laser level to 8 feet and make sure that this, you're going to check it twice so that you are not doing rule number 3, avoiding torque. What's torque? Once you start manipulating the paper, you're throwing it out of square. And it manifests itself in a misalignment between foot number 4 and foot number 8 and foot number 12. To combat that, you need to use all of these 3 rules together, being aware that your paper is constantly militating against being square, being plumb, and being level. Don't let it happen to you. Let's go over what we covered. This is plumb. If this is plumb, this is not necessarily plumb. Get that in your mind and understand that. The only way to determine if this is plumb is if you got all of the air out and you installed it perfectly straight across without putting any torque on it, and then you put a level against it. I guarantee you, if you put your level up against your forward edge, you will not see the plumbness on the forward edge that you have on the beginning edge. Guarantee it. Now, life isn't perfect. Even if it's not plumb, who cares? This is your rule. At the top of my ceiling, I have this leaf. In fact, where the ceiling meets the wall, bring them in close, is this white. You see this middle of the leaf here? You see this white thing? That's where the ceiling and the wall meet. That's where I'm going to cut it. I don't care if it's plumb or not. But understand what's going on. That's why I bring it into this video. Plumbness is important, but practicality supersedes plumb and level and everything else. I only need one level, and that's at the beginning. What governs the rest of the installation is practical knowledge. This white line is going at the top all the time. And if it's not, get a mirror and look in the mirror and say this: it's your fault that the wallpaper is not meeting at the ceiling on every consecutive sheet that follows the first. Don't blame it on the ceiling unless you get yourself a 4-foot level and tell the homeowner, hey, your ceiling is off an inch. In that case, you better have a point or two on the wallpaper below the ceiling where it matches up perfectly. And then and only then can you tell me that it's the ceiling. Blame it on the carpenters. That's acceptable. And if it's that far off, we can take a look back and we can all agree that your ceiling is doing this. No problem. In that case, the homeowner should get a pattern that's busy and you don't see that. Okay? My leaf will be at the corner every sheet. Who wants to run around with a level on their hands on a ladder? You don't need it. When you're up on the ladder, you make sure that this leaf and this white line is in the corner every time. And then you do what's called finesse work. Get a water bottle in your hand, make sure you can move your wallpaper back and forth, so that you can make your wallpaper comply with the environment in which you're hanging the paper. A bellied out wall, a slight texture. This all consumes volume of wallpaper, so it makes your wallpaper do this. It knocks it out of square. But you force it into square where it counts, at the top and at the bottom. And that's how you avoid falling into the pitfall of saying, the manufacturer says this is garbage wallpaper. No, it's $100 a roll. Even though the folks at Colgan Son or Schumacher, they don't hang paper, but they understand this. And when they send their rep out, and you're looking to get paid $3,000, $4,000 for a job, and you got a client saying, where is the roof on those houses on my wallpaper? It starts out with the roof and then it ends up down on the second floor window. What happened to my roof and the rest of the houses that are in my wallpaper pattern? You're not going to get paid because they're going to send their rep out, and their rep is going to go out of his way to demonstrate how you didn't follow these rules that I have identified in this video. I hope that helps. This is Spencer Colgan from Spencer Colgan is Wallpaper. If you have any questions on this, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Why don't you go ahead and click on like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next video.